What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Tammy Talks here. Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 15, episode 9. Better late than ugly. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into the recap. So, starts off with Sheree. So, Sheree is getting acupuncture. Y'all know Sheree has fibroids. She does not want to have the surgery. She wants to go a more holistic approach, which is cool. She throws out some stats that the average woman that has fibroids once will have to have the fibroid surgery again. I had fibroid surgery in 2020, like right as the pandemic was starting. My doctor told me too, there is a very big chance that I will have to get fibroid surgery again as well. My mom had the surgery, I think like three or four times. So it's something that it happens, right? But Sheree does not want to have to do that, so she's doing acupuncture. I don't know what that's supposed to do. Maybe that's supposed to release like pressure to shrink her fibroids. I have no idea. So then we have Marlo. Marlo is gushing over the flowers and the good morning text that she got. Marlo was like a little schoolgirl, y'all. She just geeked up that she got a good morning text, okay? We all love a good morning text. But ultimately, Marlo is afraid of letting her guard down because she feels that once you let your guard down and you're vulnerable with people, they take that as a weakness and they use it against you. Marlo, that's what you do. And that's probably why Marlo is so nervous about doing that, because Marlo takes people's weaknesses and throws them back against them. So we get to Sanya, which is basically the basis of the episode, right? Sanya in this Mommi Nation situation. She wants to raise $50,000. Very admirable goal, right? But she found out that her auctioneer has COVID, so she needs to find a replacement. So her friend is like, you got a whole bunch of people around you that you can ask. So her friend suggested they ask Kenya, because Kenya has a big personality. She's not afraid to speak in public. She's an actress. Kenya has done some hosting before. She would be the perfect person to basically tell people, y'all go up in your person, let's get this money. So that's why she wants to ask Kenya. We pan over to Kenya, and Kenya is dressed up like a Grimace cheerleader. Okay, all this purple. And she is filming a commercial for Kenya Moore Hair Care. So remember, Kenya was supposed to be performing down at the Magic City Classic, which a lot of y'all are saying is probably cap. Y'all don't think she was really even supposed to perform. Nonetheless, Kenya is performing, where she's going to be doing her performance in this commercial instead. So we have Roy. We see Kenya's little boo. He comes and surprises her with Mayetta's help, of course, and he brings lunch for everybody. You can tell that he has a cute little relationship bond with Brooklyn. They look good together. He's an attractive man. Kenya is beautiful. Like they look good together. They look like a very attractive couple. So, and they're still together now because they were both at Kandi's birthday party. Where was Kandi's party? Turks and Caicos, like a month or two ago. So Kenya gets the phone call from Sanya, and she was like, "Of course, I'll help you host." But she says this is the second time now that Sanya has, went around her manager, went around her agent to book Kenya directly. Kenya said it would not be a third. You hear me? There would not be a third. I have worked for free for you twice. But Kenya is gonna step in and help her out and do it for her. So that was good. We get Drew. So we're finding out a lot more about Drew's sister. So they're about 20 years apart, and Drew runs down her sister's resume. In addition to, being Drew's manager, she wrote. They said that she was like a writer for like Rock and Martin, and she worked at this agency and worked here in the industry. So her sister has a resume and a catalog to back it up. Um, but we find out that her sister, had a mental health break during COVID. It was hard for people during the pandemic, especially people that are extroverts and that were now forced to sit in the house by themselves. We don't know what's going on. It took a toll on a lot of people's mental health. So We find out that her sister had like this kind of like mental break during the pandemic, which wound her in was she in a psych hospital? Yeah, I think she was in like a psych hospital. Then her sister starts revealing all these things about how when she was 22, somebody was, going upside her head, and she's never told anybody that. But ultimately, her sister wants them to have a sister sibling relationship as opposed to the like working manager talent relationship that the two of them are used to having. Her sister wants them to just be sisters. So hopefully, they can work that out. They can get to a better place. Hopefully, her sister is in a better place now mentally. She's out of them toxic relationships. So it's good to see, like, I don't want to say a humanistic side of Drew, because I feel like Drew is very, we see Drew as a human on here now, but it was like a different vibe from Drew. So then we get Sheree in this awkward, very cringy scene with the OGs. I I might be the only person that did not like the scene. It was weird. It seemed forced. You can tell that these ladies are not all still in contact. They're not all still cool. They had that empty fifth chair because it should have been Lanithia, but whatever. So Deshaun Snow, Lisa Wu, Kim, this is her last name now, Bremen, they're all back. Kim Zolciak. So they're all back. Lisa was doing a lot like Lisa typically does. Lisa has always been kind of to me because like I feel like Lisa be talking in like two different voices. Like, am I the only person that catches that? But Lisa's doing a lot when Kim comes in. She's like, I don't know if I should hug you or chop you in the throat. And it's like, y'all still got beef 14 years later. Um, Sheree says she's planning a girls' trip to Portugal and she's inviting all the OGs. And I'm thinking, why? Why? Why do we want Kim, Deshaun, and Lisa on this Portugal trip? Why? So Kim off rip is like, who's going? So Sheree is naming everybody. She says Kenya, and she was like, "Oh, that bitch is still alive." You know she is, because you clearly watched the show. Nonetheless, they then pan over to Kenya, who don't know where Portugal is, and thought Portugal was in Spain. Portugal was a whole country. Whole country. Kenya didn't know that. That's okay, Kenya. Stick to the hair care, sis. So Kim still has this bad blood with her. Remember, they had that whole little situation on the last season that Kim was on. So Kim then says that her and Croy are doing great, still married, going strong, 11 years. I said, oh yeah, this was filmed, what, just last year. But Kim, so they got the divorce and they called off the divorce now, but they were like, mess. Was this all a plot for Kim to try to get back on TV? Yikes. Yikes. People gonna learn to stop playing with their marriages. People will learn the hard way to stop playing with their marriages. Um, we find out that Deshaun is out in dating. Her and Eric, got divorced right after the show. She was blindsided. He divorced her. She didn't have a chance to, get her affairs and stuff in order. But she's back out on the dating scene. Kim was like, how is it out there? Is it fun? And it's like, Kim, the entire scene. Maybe the scene would have been a little better, a little more impactful. We would have been more excited about it if it wasn't spoiled. I think TV, Bravo and OWN especially, show too much of what's coming up. You can do a trailer without showing like the main, like the big attractions of it. You know what I mean? The scene fell flat to me. I mean, was it nice to see them all together again? I mean, I guess, but like I said, it was forced, it was awkward. You can tell that it was a lot of dead air, so they had to snip things together. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. So we get to Sanya. So Sanya's getting her hair done. She's geeked because it's Mommi Nation brunch day. Her sister has an attitude per usual, but her sister's attitude is justified this time. So you know that Sanya's sister, I know she calls her Shezi sometimes, Shari, her sister is her hairstylist as well, does her hair for her. Her sister is mad because she's on camera. It's what it seemed like. Her sister was like, why do you keep doing this to me? Maybe her sister is like, if we gonna be on camera, I'm gonna be on the show. I want to be glammed up too. I could have, did my hair. I could have put a little bit of a face on. Even though her sister looked perfectly fine, like she didn't look bad in the scene or anything. But her sister thought that this was going to be like B-roll footage. She didn't think that it was really going to be the Bravo Housewives cameras in her face. So she's upset about that. Sanya is laughing at her confessional and it's like, I forgot to tell her what time she had to be there. See, this is my problem with Sanya, right? I get that you are the breadwinner of the family and you employ your family and you're helping put food on the table for your family and all this other type of stuff, but it seems like Sanya takes for granted the fact that this is her family, because a lot of the stuff that Sanya does, the way that she's careless with these people, the way that she is like just kind of whatever with them is not cool. And that's why her sister is always upset with her. So her like they had Sanya had a friend come over and they're talking and it somehow gets on the idea of her, yeah, your sister looks mad. And her sister was like, yeah, well, because Sanya doesn't understand how many hats that I have to wear. I'm doing her hair. I have to get myself ready for the event. I have to make sure my kids are okay. I have to make sure Ducey has everything that he needs. I'm doing all this type of stuff for you, and you can't even just tell me what time to be here and where to be at. And that would bother me too. Her sister does feel that Sanya does take them for granted because she knows that her sister is always going to be there for her, but her sister's getting tired of it. And I think it's the fact that Sanya sits and laughs about it in her confessionals that way. It's like the people that are like, oh yeah, I know I'm a trash person, but it's okay. Oh my God, I am so trash. Like, stuff like that is not funny. You know what I mean? I know people that do that love to make jokes about, I am so trash. I never told y'all this. Oh my God, I'm so trash. I never did what I was supposed to. I'm a trash person. Stuff like that isn't funny. It's just not funny because people only do it to people that they know will always have their back. And then when that person stops having their back, then it becomes a whole different situation. Because if Sanya's sister were to be on some, well, I'm not going to help you do this, that, and the other because you didn't tell me a time, then Sanya will be the main one crying about it. It's not cool. It's not cool. So Sanya, her sister is telling her that, but her sister's not raising her voice. She's not saying it snarky. Her sister is saying it in a very conversational tone. And Sanya gets teary-eyed because she knows that she's wrong. She knows that what her sister was saying is right. And I feel like Sanya was like low-key weaponizing her tears, trying to get a little sympathy in that moment, even though you know that you're the one that's in the wrong. I did not like Sanya's tears. I felt like I really and I honestly and truly felt that she was just trying to get some sympathy. I thought she was trying to get sympathy by doing that. So her sister is like, so if I seem like I have an attitude today, just give me some grace. That's all I'm asking. I don't want you to cry. I don't want you to mess up your makeup. I didn't think you were going to cry, but like, it needed to be said. So while this is going on, Sanya is wondering where Kenya is because Kenya is late. Now we saw a little snippet of Kenya couldn't fit into her dress, so had to get the dress taken out 2 inches. Now I know that these housewives and these people on TV have seamstress and stylists and everything that can do shit like this, but that seems like a lot of work to go in and take a dress out. I can't sew, maybe. I don't know, but that seems like a lot of work to do in this very short amount of time. So we get to the start of the event. So Sanya is calling Kenya, asking her where she is. She FaceTimes her as all the ladies start filing in. And she sees that Kenya is still getting her hair done. and she's already, what, half hour late at that point. Kenya said, better late than ugly. I said, okay, sure, okay. I mean, valid, but so Kenya is then telling her that, my plus one is your people called me and said that my plus one isn't sitting with me. That's a problem. And Sanya's like, yeah, where there's not enough, room at the table. And Kenya's like, that's fine, but it's not cool for us to not be sitting together. I can just sit at that other table with my plus one, who we saw is her name Makila? Is that her friend's name? I can't think of her friend's name. She looks like a girl I know named Makila. That might be her name. So she's, with her friend. And I was kind of shocked about that, like why Sanya was acting like it would be a big thing, because that event was empty. And the production and the camera crew didn't even try to hide the empty tables. When they're filming in a concentrated area, they usually keep the cameras tight just on that space. So when they're panning around different tables and stuff, you're not necessarily seeing that it's, empty tables all around. Production said, y'all gonna see that ain't nobody here. I was shocked. Because Sanya was saying that people were traveling from far and long and all this other kind of stuff. Maybe if y'all filled out the tables, y'all could have got to the $100,000. Nonetheless. So, Sheree is asking Marlo about her date. Marlo was saying how he's a chef and he owns a restaurant and all this stuff. We get a little montage of the ladies that actually care for Marlo talking about the date, and they're all saying he has to be rich and rich and rich and rich. Yes, Marlo should date within her tax bracket. Absolutely. Absolutely. So KANDI shows up. KANDI is tired. We saw a little clip with KANDI where KANDI has just done back-to-back shows with Escape, and now she had to do a speak on it. She has to do this. She has another show later that night. So KANDI will say, I just drove here. KANDI said, I'm here so I don't get fined. Basically, that was the vibe she was giving. Sanya, on the other hand, took that to mean that she's KANDI's favorite because KANDI has missed a bunch of other stuff, but KANDI's here. No, production told KANDI, you're going to take your ass to this event here. You ain't got to go roller skating. Okay, but you gonna come to this brunch and sit down and hold your paddle up for this auction. That's why KANDI's there. So Kenya is now over an hour and a half. Excuse me, now over an hour late. So Sanya starts to kind of freak out and it's like, I'll be the damn MC. You could have been the MC yourself in general. Nonetheless, she gets up there and she's talking about the event and the brunch, and we see Kenya walk in. And she goes and fills Kenya in on what she's supposed to do. So Kenya said, what's the goal? Sanya tells Kenya 50,000. Kenya said, 50? But there's 50 sitting at that table right there, pointing to the Housewives table. When you go around, they all did the math very, very quickly. And it was like, what did KANDI say? 7,000 apiece? They all got $7,000 to put up for that. So Kenya was like, okay, we ain't doing 50. Kenya gets introduced as an actress and model and socialite and blah, blah, blah. She gets up there. Kenya was like, we ain't doing 50. 50 is that table right there, pointing at KANDI and them. We're going to do 100. Seeing is like, this is my first event. 50 is a good go. Girl, let her get you some more money. Here's the thing. You said 50. The auctioneer is saying 100. People are still banking on the 50. Either way, it is still money that you are giving to, these less fortunate people. It's great. As long as you get your 50, then you should be satisfied. So Kenya's up there in the Kenya walks up with her paddle, and the very first item that Sanya's giving away, Kenya puts up 5,000 for it. KANDI matches her. Then it's like a tumbleweed. Mayetta goes next. So now Kenya is calling out people. Okay, Sheba Sheree, she sold joggers. Muncie, I know you got 5G in your purse right now. So they put up 5,000 apiece. Drew puts up 5,000. Courtney put up 2,500. Courtney put up 2,500. So all in all, she was able to get $78,000 raised, which is great. Which is great. Which is great. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Andy can put up a couple more dollars, and we can get up to that 100. But that was pretty much the episode. It wasn't a whole lot to it. And then as they're all walking out at the end, they start talking about Portugal, and Kandi said, I can't stay the whole time, just a few days. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode. And if you have not already subscribed to the channel, thumbs up the video. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.